If this is your first time visiting, I'm Sabrina. If it's not, I'm glad to have you back. Today's conversation is once again about Microlocs, mine to be exact, and my journey. Today is January the 11th, which puts me a little over 4 months into my journey. Today's plan is to talk about my struggles. While most of the experience has been wonderful, I have still been struggling with a few items. Let's start with dryness and itchy scalp. It is, as I said before, it's January. It's cold. Right now, I believe, well, it's 32 degrees, and that's probably the warmest it's been in about a week. We've had about almost 12 inches of snow, got a couple more inches just the other night, and it's not really just my scalp. It's everything. I feel it. I am dried out, and I'm trying really hard to increase my water intake, but that just doesn't seem to be doing the trick. So, what was I using before? I had this elixir. It's called Grassroots, and this was from my original loctician. And prior to it getting pretty cold, it had been helping with the itch it had been doing a pretty good job of that. But at this point, we're deep into winter, and this unfortunately is not doing the trick. So I've tried a few things. I'll start with one of the things I did was I decided to, well, no, let me back up a little bit. So I made a couple purchases, did a little bit of research, and I was looking for a hair oil or a scalp oil. I think the first one I used was, and I tried to grab everything, but I didn't think to grab that one because I'm not using it anymore. But it had castor oil in it. It had some other items, but castor oil was one of them, and it's pretty heavy. So I would use that on my scalp, and it didn't. I don't think it absorbed very well. And I found that it just made my hair just really stiff. And right now, I'm a little stiff today, just because I find as I'm spraying it to moisturize it to keep it from drying out, uh, and I'm using rose water. Rose water, after a couple applications. I mean, if you think of rose petals, it can be a little, it doesn't really feel sticky, but it does tend to weigh my hair down after a couple of applications. And along with the fact that normally, prior to getting my hair locked, I would not put oils in my hair because it weighs it down, it makes it stiff, and I wouldn't do that. Um, but as I'm trying to keep my scalp moisturized, I'll moisturize my scalp, and then as I massage into my scalp, whatever is left on my fingers, I'll rub down my hair just to, get some of those oils onto my hair so that it doesn't look so dry. Well, not just look, so just that it isn't dry, because of course, if it was difficult before to get the natural oils from your scalp, down the shaft of your hair when you have, coily, kinky hair, curly hair even, it's even more so difficult now, because now I have, I'm being interlocked. So those oils are not making it from my scalp down to my hair. So I realized that I need to provide my hair with some type of moisture. So I did a little bit of research on oils, and actually, my plan is to make my own um, scalp concoction. So one of the base that I was going to use was jojoba oil, and so I purchased that, and I also purchased vitamin E. I purchased tea tree. Again, I haven't put the recipe together, but in the meantime, my scalp was screaming, and so I thought I'm just going to take the jojoba oil, or jojoba oil. I think it's jojoba oil. and use it just directly on my scalp. So generally what I'm doing is I'm just taking the dropper and, I'll part my hair and I'll put it on those sections that I find are most dry and itchy, like up here in the crown. And I get a little bit of itchiness up here. And then, like, right above my ears, I get these spots, So I just take the dropper and, part my hair and just kind of put it here and then just massage it down. I probably separate it twice and put another, take the dropper and go across this way and, just massage it in. And then I do the same thing here. I just, maybe two sections, I'll do that. And in the back, the same way. And then just really massage my scalp and then, put it through my hair. So the first time I will do it is right after shampooing while my scalp is still damp so that it will absorb and, kind of seal my skin. And then I find that I probably, if shampooing my hair once a week now, literally here in the dead of winter, I'm needing to do it twice. I'm needing to oil my scalp right after shampooing and then somewhere again in the middle of the week. And then even that, I mean, when I do it, I get immediate relief and then I feel really good. And then about day 2, I start to feel, just I can, how you get out of the shower if you don't immediately apply any sort of moisturizer to your skin, you can feel your skin just tightening and drying up. And like I feel it, I can feel it. I really feel it, like say on my lower back. And then if I go to bend over and I can feel my skin, pulling because it's tight. So that's what my scalp starts to feel like probably into day 2 and 3. And so I thought, what else can I do? So I thought about it, and I know it's not good to continually wet my hair because I don't want to have the bunching, which I did have a little bit of an issue with bunching with my last retighten. And she said that I was, applying too much moisture to my hair. So I'm trying to back off of that. So I thought, what can I do? I don't want to re-wet my hair. So prior to that, I was, parting, separating, and taking the sprayer. And I still do that, like, maybe every other day or every two days. I'll part and then, just spray and then again massage. But my scalp was just dying. So I thought I need to order some little uh, applicator bottles that's going to make it easy to get the oils or to get some sort of moisture onto my scalp. So what I did is I took what I had left in this bottle, because of course when you spray, it's going on to more than just my scalp, it's getting in my hair as well. So I took this and I poured it into here, and it makes it super easy. I just want to make sure the top is tight because I don't want to do it right now. So it makes it super easy. So, all I do is, I just pour a little, go in between, pour a little, and it starts to run. And I try to catch it before it like totally runs down. But that way I'm wetting my scalp, I'm giving it the moisture that it needs without having to re-wet my hair too often. So I'm probably doing this as well in between. And again, it just depends. If I need it, I need it. If I start feeling it getting tight and itchy, then I'll go in with this. I've only tried this. I tried this once or twice. I think twice I've done this, and it's really soothing, really helps. It'll take me through another day or two before I start to feel everything getting dry again. And so I'll do that. And I plan on making up my own mixture. I actually purchased 2 bottles from my old loctician, and she's 2 hours away. So I won't be visiting her anymore. but this has organic roses, rosemary, hibiscus, vitamin E, jojoba oil, essential oils, which are lemongrass, peppermint, and tea tree. So I'm going to do a little research and I'm going to come up with my own uh, recipe and make my own. And because I now have all of everything that I need to make my own. And then, so once I finish with hers, I'll play around and make my own. And we'll use this applicator to get it onto my scalp and not the rest of my hair. And another product that I purchased was this rose water. Now, I've tried a couple of different rose waters. My first one was a Damascus rose water, and I believe this one is as well, but this one is called Altea, I think. And it smells amazing. It's really good. I wasn't all that crazy about the last one I purchased, but this one I like. And again, I don't want to use too much of this because I'm doing two things. I'm wetting my hair again, which I do realize I do need to moisturize it. So I do use this, but I try not to use it too frequently. Um, and it, like I said, it does smell amazing. So I'm using this as well. And again, I'm just playing around. I'll figure out what works, and then by the time I figure it out, it'll be warm again, so it won't be as much of an issue. So I think that's enough about the moisturizing. Oh, my other thorn is the slippage. So my last retightening, I was told, and I mentioned this in my last video, to again try not to wet the very back of my hair where I'm having the major slippage. Even with that, even avoiding wetting it, still that very first row is slipped. Now, it did last longer than it had on prior occasions, but it's still slipping. I'm just at a loss, because in my mind, if it slips every single time, then how is it ever going to lock? So again, in my research and going through many YouTube videos, I stumbled across um, crocheting your locks so that it's, instant locks. And I thought, I wonder if I could do that. I just took a chance. I said, I'm just going to attempt to do it. I watched a couple videos. While it didn't look easy, it looked straightforward. For most of them are going super fast. I'm going to get my little kit here that I bought, my little crochet kit. It has it came with 3 different needles, and then I actually show it on the video. I'll put that in between. As I'm talking, I'll flip back and forth. I'll add it in as I'm doing my editing. But there are these little hooks, and I do give a really good picture of the hooks, little teeny. And then they come in, with 1, 2, or 3. And this particular case also came with 2 other tools. I don't know what we call these, but for interlocking. And I also purchased another interlocking tool and I can't remember if I showed this on the last video, where you've got the hook here and you've got the hook here. I think I now have pretty much every tool there is. And my goal here is to learn how to, at least, I'm never going to have the time to retighten my entire head. Life is just too busy for that. But when I'm in a position and a lock has slipped, or I'm going out and I just want to, tighten up my edges and make it look really neat and fresh, I want to be able to do that. As well as, I would like to know how to do it. And I just realized I still have my little doll. I didn't totally take her out of the camera, but I'm practicing. I practice my grid, you know, on my mannequin here. And these were the first um, interlocks. I actually did this, I interlocked the whole thing. And as I'm doing it, I can see a hole where I left a hole. But again, it's practice, and practice makes perfect, right? So I did these three, and I will show you. I did a little video ahead of time so that you get to see. And then on this one, I actually attempted to crochet it. I mean, obviously I didn't do a great job, but it's together. I think if I work on it more and I practice more, I'll get it. So I actually, before practicing on the doll, I attempted to do my own, and I'm going to show that as well. And actually, shoot, as I'm feeling, well, one has a little knot in it, so that's not good. And then the other one, it feels like it may have, maybe not, maybe it didn't come out. Maybe that's just another piece of hair. I literally can't tell. I mean, it's literally at the very nape of my neck. And I think I'm forward enough in my little stool that I'll turn around. So I did this one. This one has like a little knot in it. My loctician's going to scream at me. This one's still in. So I crocheted that one. I crocheted this one. It feels like it's still in. And I did this one. Yeah. So let's look at the back of my hair. So, and yeah, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's my hair. And I figured it's that very first row, right? So eventually this hair is going to cover it all up. So even if I screw it up, it's no big deal. I've even considered maybe just cutting it. Not me cutting it, having my loctician just cut it and then just keeping that part short, because I just don't think that it's going to stay. We'll see about these little ones that I attempted to crochet if they stay in. And I know it's probably length that I need, but because it's so short and it's so soft back there, it just doesn't want to stay in. So I've been playing with that. I also purchased a different crochet needle, and this one is by Clover, and I have not opened it up yet, but I can be a sucker for sales, for well, I'm not going to say for sales. I can be a sucker for gadgets. I like gadgets, especially smart gadgets. This wouldn't qualify as one, but it's a gadget. And the person that I was watching on Instagram said that this was the best crochet tool to use. I don't specifically remember why, but it says that it's a soft touch thread pick, soft touch thread pick. And why is it better? It says it slips easily between fabric layers. So we'll see. I'll play with this one as well. And okay, so that's all about the slippage. Next is, I think it's my final uh, thorn, is braiding and banding. The braiding part is not that much of a problem. Back here, it's kind of hard to braid back here, so I've been twisting this part. I was not braiding and banding prior to shampooing initially when I started, but this last since my last retightening, I have been. I don't like it for a couple of reasons. One, I feel that when I braid, I'm not getting my hair clean enough because it's all, I mean, it's enough already that this is, you know, twisted and my roots are locked. So it's enough to need to try to get, you know, your hair clean this way. But then when you then turn around and braid this and then band it at the end, in my mind, I'm not getting it clean enough. I'm not getting this shampoo, the cleanser out, and then how can I possibly rinse it all really, really well? I've been doing it, but I'm not happy about it. My first issue was my lactician said, you need rubber bands. So I knew that I couldn't just use a standard rubber band, you know, so I thought I'll get those little soft ones, right? This is what I first started with. And I don't know, I just wasn't thinking, why did I get black? Someone explain to me why I thought getting black was a good idea. So you know, they're kind of nylon. I mean, they're stretchy, but they're not rubber. So supposedly they don't, um, you know, pull your hair when you go to take them out. However, I put them in and I couldn't get them out. Maybe I did it too tight because either it wasn't tight enough and it would slip, because I actually had one come out in the shower, or the others were too tight. But when it was time to remove it, one, I couldn't tell where the rubber band was and my hair. I couldn't tell the difference. And then it was so tight that I couldn't grab it without pulling my hair. So I was trying to use scissors, and then I actually called my husband to help. So this was not a good idea. This was just like a total waste. I mean, it wasn't very expensive, just a couple bucks, but it was a waste because I couldn't see to get them out. Well, I definitely couldn't just pull it and untwist it. So I had to cut them, and I didn't want to cut my hair. So that was a disaster, needless to say. And then so I thought, oh, I definitely need like the cloth bands, because those are going to be easy for me to grab and unwrap on my hair. So I thought, and I'm going to borrow my doll again because I use them all in her hair. So I'm going to take one of these out of her hair to show you what I was using. So then I remembered when I had lots of hair and I was wearing ponytails, I had these little, you know, cloth covered rubber bands, like scrunchies. I had these. So I thought, oh, I'll use these. But you can see it's a little large. So I had to, like wrap it a couple of times. And then when you do that, that creates a thick band around your hair. And once again, I'm shampooing and I'm thinking the cleanser is not getting underneath that. So that whole section is just not getting clean. I'm not removing the oils or whatever I've put in my hair. So I'll put this back on her. So I thought, all right, well, I need some smaller ones. So I live in I don't know, I guess you would call this a relatively rural area. I'm about 5 miles from the ocean. It's definitely not, it's not a city. It's not populated. It's, well, it is, but it isn't. I mean, we don't have a lot of like department stores, so I've I've got to drive like 30 minutes to the Walmart, and generally the smaller stores like the grocery store, the Rite Aid, Walgreens, the selection just is really limited. So I first tried there to try to find smaller scrunchies or whatever you call them, hair bands that are, covered with some sort of cloth that's not going to pull your hair out when you go to take it off. I try to find smaller ones. No luck. Went to the Walmart. I found some that were smaller, but not small enough. So I just kind of stood there like a deer in headlights, trying to figure out what to do. How am I going to handle this braiding and banding? It ended up that I went back to the original little nylon bands, but I got colored ones. I haven't used them yet, so I will try to not make them too tight. And these look smaller than the ones that I have, so maybe I'll be able to do it without making them too small. So when I do an update again in about a month, then I'll let you know how that turned out. So these are smaller than the this these guys. These are much larger. So these smaller ones, hopefully, I won't have to make too tight, and I'll be able to see them. So I won't have to worry about undoing them. I can just I've got these little teeny baby scissors, and just take it and snip it. And hopefully that will solve that issue. So I think I've covered it all. This Saturday, I think Saturday or Friday, some point this week, I am going to color this. I'm gonna braid and band. So I'm just gonna try to get my roots. And I really don't care about, I don't think I have much gray in the back. It's mostly just here, and then I've got like just a couple little strands here. So I'll just kind of go through and just brush them. I did buy a little brush and bowl because normally I just, sorry, normally I just, buy the hair color and, just kind of squeeze it in. But I realize it's going to be easier to get a brush. And the interesting thing is going to be not to get it all over my scalp since everything's all sectioned. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'm going to video it. It's probably not worth it. We'll see, but I'll definitely update you on that. And I was just trying to wait till the last minute before we go on vacation. And I want it fresh. So I'm going to do that. And let me just look at my list. Did I talk about everything? Oh, I did purchase a new hair bonnet. I bought a mulberry silk hair bonnet. And again, in my vanity, I don't like sleeping with things on my hair. But again, and I told you guys before, generally, I've always slept on a silk pillowcase, not, what's the other one? Not silk, but what do they use? Satin, not satin, but silk pillowcase. But then I thought, I've read lots of stories and seen lots of photos on lint. And even though there's no lint from my silk pillowcase, my night clothes, are cotton. My bedspread is cotton. Even if I did silk sheets, I still, the blanket, and you put it up, over your shoulders. And I thought, that still leaves an opportunity for me to gather lint. And I know it's impossible to avoid it all, but I'm doing my best to make sure it does not become a problem. So I invested in a silk hair bonnet, and it was probably about 35 bucks. And again, it's silk, so it was worth the price. It's big because my last one was too snug on my head, and probably even more snug now that that I have the locks. So this one's nice and full. My head doesn't seem to get too hot in it. So far that part's working. And what else? I think I covered all of my little issues. So otherwise, it has still been a wonderful experience. I'm loving every single day of it. I still think about, because my hair has actually grown. I mean, it's again, I like it big, so I tend to like scrunch it. I don't like it just like flat. So I'm really considering as it starts to grow, I don't want just that like straight look, to always keep it styled or maybe just layered at least so that I have some fullness. But it is, and you can see it still has some shine. Again, I'm getting close to shampoo time, so it's a little dull. But even with this winter, I think it looks pretty damn good. So I'm happy. All right, so I am like a feather in the wind. I am usually like all over the place, but I'm pretty proud of myself because I have been consistent in doing my updates. They may not always be at the exact same time, but I'm doing them. So, yay for me. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So, until next time, my friends, remember, live well, thrive mindfully, and travel with purpose. So, until we meet again, see ya. Oh, I said see ya, but then I forgot an important part. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notifications for my next update. All right, have a great one.